The 2018 British Formula One Grand Prix weekend. The pinnacle of the British motor racing calendar. And this year, host to a unique challenge between two natural-born racers. TT motorcycle racing legend Guy Martin is about to take part in his first ever Formula One race, going head-to-head with 2009 F1 world champion Jenson Button.
I've always said to myself that I shouldn't do silly things that I can hurt myself doing. But as soon as your visor goes down, I will push it to the limit.
If it's a Formula One driver, he's going to smoke me, isn't he? You would think. Yeah, no pressure at all. The racing instinct could take over and I could just T-bone him into the first corner and write both cars off.
Guy has been preparing for this moment for 6 months.
Just sounded like it was trying to rip the thing out of the floor.
He's helped painstakingly restore a classic Williams F1 car to racing condition.
Oh, straight in. You got the job. Great experience and honour. Bit of pressure though.
Learning its unique history.
Ayrton Senna's first go in a Formula One car.
And meeting one of his heroes.
You maybe don't get excited about engines the same way I do. That's a pretty legend, isn't it?
And Guy's put in a lot of laps.
It's all right. No one died.
Learning how to drive a single-seater Formula One car.
Yeah, motors. The further you push your foot, the faster it goes, and it just keeps going.
So can you go from 2 wheels to 4 and become a competitive F1 driver in just 6 months? We're about to find out.
To look across and see him totally out of his comfort zone.
Don't crash it. Don't crash it. Well, that's all I was thinking, don't crash it.
Guy's road to Silverstone started in January at the headquarters of one of the most successful Formula One teams of all time. Founded in 1977 by racing driver Frank Williams and engineer Patrick Head, Williams F1 went on to win 114 Grand Prix.
A win, yet another one.
Claiming 7 drivers' championships and 9 constructors' titles.
Frank has got one of the finest teams in the business.
It's now the last of the original and true privateer teams left in Formula One.
Stack stop.
Steady away, boy.
Guy had his first experience of working with Williams when he joined their pit crew for the 2017 Belgium Grand Prix at Spa.
Thanks, mate.
Enjoyed it, yeah. Really enjoyed it, yeah. Challenging.
Williams was so impressed with Guy at Spa that this year they came up with a whole new Formula One challenge for him.
Thank you, mate.
To find out what that challenge was, in January Guy was invited along to the Williams Heritage Division. Set up in 2014, it specialises in maintaining and running the team's back catalogue of world-class racing machines. The division's boss is Jonathan Williams.
This museum, through great efforts by this team down the decades, it does represent 40 years as an entrant, as a constructor in the World Championship.
Jonathan Williams, Frank Williams' son. Yeah, really, really knowledgeable about all the history behind all the Formula One cars.
That's a favourite. 2003 FW25.
Okay.
That's the car that we probably should have won a World Championship with BMW.
The collection includes Guy's favourite F1 car of all time, Nigel Mansell's 1992 FW14B.
Back when this car was racing with Mansell in it, like every Sunday, my dad would always be sat around the telly. Me and my brothers and sisters would be sat there. And I just remember that race around Monaco.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get past Senna, and yeah, I'll never forget that.
It made for one of the most sort of memorable moments.
Yeah.
This is going to be probably the closest finish we've ever had at Monaco. Mansell weaving this way and that way, but Senna won't let him pass.
Who was telling me that Nigel Mansell is a really good magician now?
He's...
Who was telling me that?
He is.
The strangest car in the collection is FW08B, a 6-wheel variant of the ground effect car in which Keke Rosberg won the 1982 Drivers' Championship. Ground effect revolutionised aerodynamics in Formula One. Airflow under the car ran along channels shaped like inverted wings. With side skirts sealing that air under the car, this effectively sucked it to the track.
This was a ground effect car as well as four-wheel drive.
Exactly. The car was outlawed before it could actually race, but during its testing, it was looking incredibly fast. So with ground effect being outlawed completely, it led to FW08C,
Right.
which is the non-ground effect version. So the car from 1983 it's not here today
It's
because
not here.
We're expecting you to build it and drive it.
Right. I genuinely didn't know this. I didn't know what was happening. They just said be at Williams 9 o'clock this morning, right? So that's where I am. And it's got a Cosworth DFE in it.
Cosworth DFE, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's probably, yeah.
I think you're building that as well.
Is that right?
I think you're building the whole thing.
I'm excited. I'm not making that up. That's genuine. I didn't know.
That's cool.
Yeah. Bloody hell, right.
So that's your car.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
There you go.
With Guy clearly excited at the prospect of restoring a 35-year-old Formula One car to race condition, Jonathan takes him to meet the rest of the heritage team.
Yeah. Jonathan took us into the workshop and introduced us to Dickie. Now then, Dickie, how's it going?
Busy.
In 1985, Dickie Stanford joined Williams as a gearbox mechanic for Nigel Mansell. He went on to become their chief mechanic and was then team manager for 10 years.
Very stressful. Well, I enjoyed it. I like to be put under pressure in those days, but not so much now.
Nowadays, he's the general manager of Williams Heritage.
It's one of 3 groups within Williams Heritage, but the 2 others, F1 and Advanced Engineering, have hundreds of people. There are 5 of us.
Right.
You make it 6.
Right. Well, I'm here. I'm here and I'm willing. Right, so
Great.
where do you want me?
The plan is that you're going to put this car back together,
Yeah.
completely finished, ready to run,
Yeah.
and then you're going to be driving it.
Spot on. Right.
But we need to do a seat fit to make sure the pedals, seat belts, and everything are going to fit.
You want shoes off? So we need to get in there and get measured up. I don't know how old them bloody socks are. I'm not joking, man. I'm not joking. And it might have been on a day or 2. It's not just to you get in and tighten your seatbelts. It's cosy enough. You expected me to be a bit slimmer than that, didn't you? Seatbelts have to be tailored. I can smell my feet, and I'm sorry about it.
Can you sink into the seat anymore?
Getting the steering wheel in the right place, making sure my feet are in the right place.
OK, if you come out, Bob will make some adjustments.
It's not uncomfy, You won't want to be driving it to Fort William.
As the 1983 F1 season started, expectations for the FW08C were low.
Yeah, obviously that's a 3-litre naturally aspirated engine, and it was racing up against turbocharged 1.5 litres, and it was just getting smoked everywhere. Smoked. You know, it was way down on power.
The turbo cars produced around 160 horsepower more than the Williams car. But astonishingly, driver Keke Rosberg opened the season with pole position at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And even more impressively, he won the 1983 Monaco Grand Prix.
This is Keke Rosberg, obviously Nico Rosberg's dad. Prost, you can't miss Prost's nose, can you? It's nearly as big as mine. Yeah, one of only 3 Williams victories around Monaco. Look, her boy looks about jiggered, doesn't he? He ain't putting that on, is he? Hey? Yeah, knackered, good lad.
And that's a Keke Rosberg gear knob. Keke whittled that himself.
Is that right?
Yep, they used to be straight up, and then Keke said no, he wants to be able to get his fingers around it. After he did that, every driver wanted it.
Yeah, it feels lovely. So that's how you got water temperature, engine RPM.
Yep.
What's that tell you? Oil pressure.
If that comes on,
Yeah. Get
kill
off.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But is that usually not to come on to tell you it's too late?
Yes.
Just to confirm it's knackered, yeah.
Taking something that has spent most of its life as a museum piece and making it fit to race is an enormous task. Every single component has been stripped and x-rayed to check for the smallest crack, the slightest corrosion, or tiniest imperfection.
Like an airfix kit.
Then everything will be reconditioned, rechecked, and meticulously rebuilt.
So you got a bit of an idea of what's involved.
It's been sat in the museum, so for Guy to actually come and drive this car, it has to go through a lot of checks, and the checks we do on it are the same checks as what they do on the modern F1 cars.
We have every car x-rayed every 2 years.
It's not a 5-minute job.
If this was a Formula One situation, how long would it take to build this car? You know, it's not the sort of thing you're going to do in half an hour, is it?
If we were in a rush and we were actually racing in day, you'd be looking in probably 3-4 hours.
Right. But you're not rushed. How long would it take?
Probably in the region 12 to 16 weeks.
12 to 16 weeks.
That's a ground-up restoration.
Right. Get cracking.
Front lower wishbone, I think, to start with.
Yeah, so we built the front end up. You know, I know I've been involved with a modern Formula 1 team, but yeah, it's quite different to this. This is very much nuts, bolts, pipes, wires. A lot simpler.
That's your half-inch for here.
3/8.
Yep, and you want a 3/8 ratchet spanner on there.
Very old school.
Perhaps the FW08C's greatest claim to fame is that it was the first Formula One car ever driven by Ayrton Senna.
1983, Ayrton Senna's first go in a Formula 1 car. Oh, you see what watch he had on? Casio calculator watch. When was the last time you seen one of that? He just won the Formula 3 world title, and he was on a flight with Frank Williams going somewhere, and he pestered him and says, you need to give me a go in your Formula 1 car. And that's what Frank Williams did. And that's what's happening here. Donington Park, 1983. An amazing time of Formula 1 though, an amazing time. First time out in a Formula 1 car, went out and went quicker than the lap record at Donington. Quicker than both Williams Formula 1 drivers. So not a messer. And it was something to see. His first go in a Formula 1 car, he was trying. He had the car moving about, so obviously knew what he was doing. Why didn't Williams sign in? Of course you would. You'd be a madman not to. But both of the drivers that they had under contract at the time cost however much to get them out of the contract and put Senna in, so yeah. I'm going to be driving the car he had his first test in. Oh, it's going to be an experience. I've got a lot to learn. I'm not much of a driver, really. I can drive me van all right. I'm all right with my tranny. I'm quite kind to brake pads. But I'm not a very fast driver, I don't think.
The first step of making Guy a faster driver and teaching him to handle a Formula One car was a session here on Williams' multi-million-pound state-of-the-art simulator. Guy's mentor throughout his training would be Karun Chandok.
Have you been on any simulator?
No. Karun? Yeah, Karun, he knows the Scot. He's only 34. He's been Williams' test driver and drives all the exhibition stuff and like he's a doer. Raced at Le Mans, raced Formula 1, raced loads of stuff, so he knows what he's doing. He's not a messer.
One thing I'll always say, if you're going to spin, close your eyes. Immediately close your eyes. Don't try and catch a spin because you can get motion sickness very quickly.
Okay.
Williams F1 drivers will spend days on the simulator before every race, learning the circuits and trying to perfect the setup of their cars. Today, Lance Stroll is practicing at Melbourne.
Every bump, every curb is absolutely identical to what would be in the real circuit.
When Lance took a break,
Go on, let's go. Right.
it was time for Guy to get his first experience behind the wheel of a Formula One car.
Rabbit in the headlights. Rabbit in the headlights, Jesus wept.
Albeit virtually.
Yeah, then I had to go, yeah.
Enjoy.
Cheers, mate.
Guy started out on the same track as Lance,
What did Lance do?
23.2.
Melbourne.
He's had an hour or two on this, though, hasn't he?
He's had a little head start on you.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
A long left-hander, gently accelerate. And then the road opens up.
That was bloody useless.
Guy, just remember, if you're going to spin, close your eyes, yeah?
Okie dokie. Yeah, it was just a disaster.
Oh! Guy, do you want to try a circuit like Silverstone that you know?
Yeah, if that's Silverstone, I know where I'm going. Well,
Yeah.
I sort of know where I'm going. Yeah, I do know where I'm going at Silverstone. Thank you.
Wakey, wakey.
All right, boss.
So I went to Silverstone.
I recognise this bit, I think.
And to be honest, I wasn't any better, really. I was bloody useless. You sat that low in a Formula 1 car, you can't see much.
Guy, brake harder. Brake, brake, brake.
Go.
I was mostly seeing gravel traps, yeah.
Go on, son, go on. Let's get a lap here. Go, go. Oh!
To me, It doesn't feel like a tool to do a job, it's just like a video game thing, like you're doing down Cleethorpes Run.
Guy, I think you're going the wrong way around the circuit, mate.
Oh, man. I did go the wrong way for a bit. There was no coming though. But then, let's be honest, it's a computer game, isn't it? No one's dying.
Sacked. Feel seasick.
Can you see why it's useful for drivers? Oh, no. Not really. I think you did all right towards the end. It's just...
Let's be honest.
Okay, fine.
Be honest.
It wasn't great. Let's just hope you're better in the real car.
Yeah, let's hope so. Hey?
Pretty useless.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta get me trainers. Let me get me trainers.
Guy Martin built his racing reputation on two wheels.
I cannot stress what a good ride this is by Guy Martin.
His latest challenge culminates here at Silverstone, where he'll attempt to switch to four wheels and compete against a Formula One champion.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. Silverstone, the Thursday before Grand Prix on Sunday. We're not racing until about 4:30 or so. Yeah, a bit nervous. A bit nervous.
For 6 months, he's worked with the Williams Heritage Team, led by Chief Engineer Dickie Stanford.
Now, boss.
All right, guys. How are you?
All right, mate.
And Jonathan Williams. Guy's helped restore an FW08C, the first F1 car ever driven by Ayrton Senna.
Oh, shit up. Thanks very much. Oh, bloody hell. That's nice, that. Calculator watch. Senna's calculator watch. All right, that's sort of in tribute, isn't it? That's true. Thanks very much.
On track, Guy will be going head-to-head with 2009 Formula One world champion, Jenson Button.
Waiting on Jenson Button. Yeah. No, I never met him. I've never met him. Why would I met him? Want to meet him? I don't know him. I don't even know who he looks like.
When Jenson does arrive, it's him who has difficulty clocking Guy.
Now then, Jenson.
Hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, mate. You all right? I'm Guy.
I didn't recognise you with the hair.
No, I've had a cut off, mate. I thought I need every bit of advantage. Hey? Do you know what the plan is?
We're going racing.
Yeah.
Jenson will be driving the prototype six-wheel ground effect car, FW08B, which Guy saw on his first visit to Williams.
Without the bodywork, you wouldn't say it's the prettiest race car, would you?
No. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
But, wow.
This revolutionary car was developed for the 1983 season. Williams were one of the only teams without turbocharged engines, and as a result, were massively down on power compared to their rivals.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The concept of a six-wheel car was to so hugely improve the aerodynamics that the power difference wouldn't matter. The big fat rear tyres of an F1 car cause a massive amount of drag, and because they're wide, they encroach into the bodywork. That dictated how far back the ground effect aerodynamics underneath the car could extend. Williams' theory was that having four smaller rear wheels would minimize the drag they caused, and being narrower, they sat wholly outside the body of the car, meaning the ground effect aerodynamics could extend for the whole of its length. Their theory appeared to work, and in testing, the six-wheeler was reported to be blisteringly fast. However, before it ever raced, the FIA banned four-wheel drive and ground effect. Today will be the first time it has ever been driven in a race.
Awesome.
Yeah, be about 500 horsepower.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's enough.
Jenson, I just expected a bit of arrogance, I suppose, as he should have. You know, he's bloody Jenson Button, but no, he's just a normal bloke, nice bloke.
You do the craziest things and always have done. But here, you have a circuit that's designed for a Formula One car that's going to do 210 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So it's
Acres
massive.
Of Acres of
Exactly. And this won't go anywhere near as good. So
yeah.
don't worry about giving it some.
What's the worst can happen?
Exactly.
You've got to go back and tell Frank you broke his car.
Right.
That's probably an issue. That's the biggest issue.
My driving credentials don't weigh up to much, but I can say, up to this point, my van will have done 70,000 miles on the original brake pads. On the original brake pads. That's my driving.
Into the technical stuff.
No, yeah, but I'm just that sort of sympathetic driving.
Conserving brakes on a transit van is not a key indicator that you can handle an F1 car. So Williams organised some training for Guy which started back in February at the Bruntingthorpe Vehicle Testing Facility. Guy and his mentor, former F1 driver Karun Chandok, met up with the man who teaches the best drivers on the planet how to get even better.
My name's Rob Wilson, and I spend most of my life training racing drivers.
It turns out that he's trained 11 of last year's Formula One grid.
Rob started with a bit of classroom theory.
What we want to try and get is the shortest corners that we can.
Yeah, he tries to teach you how to just keep it all smooth, all calm, and just keep the car balanced.
So the corner only goes on for that long instead of that long.
Okay.
Because every time you're cornering, you know, the car's not going forward.
Okay.
After the theory, the practical.
Less talking, more doing, I think.
Okay.
And the car that Rob's used to teach some of F1's biggest names how to lap faster? A Vauxhall Astra.
Love it, love it, love it.
It's best to teach them in something slower because the movement goes on and on a bit, and you've got time to discuss it whilst it's happening. And then you can squash it up and adapt that to a faster vehicle.
So yeah, all these Formula One drivers he's had in have all been in the Astra.
First up, Rob took the wheel to show Guy what he wanted him to do.
So this is Rob's super duper circuit that he's invented, right? We got hairpins, we got chicanes, we've got
90-degree rides.
90-degree rides. We got all sorts of stuff.
In fact, every corner of Rob's circuit is based on a corner somewhere on an F1 track.
This is Lowe's hairpin at Monaco. I know you recognise it.
Oh yeah, just the same.
Yeah.
Just the same.
Well, private aeroplanes there as well. Here we go through our S's. Rather than taking what would be the geometric line to apex of that cone, we don't. We go straight across like that, see? And we build a little flat section and the car accelerates quicker.
Yeah, the car's in a more settled state when you're trying to apply the power.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily talking about being a faster driver, but we are talking about crossing the finish line sooner.
Oh, we're moving now, aren't we? It's quite aggressive how you're straightening the car
Well,
up there.
it's brisk.
Yeah, brisk, is that what it was? Yeah.
What a drive, what an experience that was, what a nice bloke.
Okay, your turn.
Thank you, Rob.
Righty ho then, Mr. Martin.
Right, okay, it all starts here.
On his first lap, Guy proves to be a bit of a boy racer.
Go slower.
Slow.
Oh, not too fast, not too fast. That's too much, yeah? Hey guys, the wheel go light on the brake. Till the wheel will off brake totally. Off.
And he isn't really taking in Rob's instructions.
Lift, weight, and gentle.
He does talk a lot, and that confused me a lot.
A little bit too wheel spinny, yeah? Yeah.
And it was all getting a bit much, and I got a bit confused, and I ended up having a spin.
No.
It's all right, no one died.
Won't be pole position.
Sorry about that, boys.
Oh, no, it's stuck.
When Rob's giving these instructions, Guy is still thinking about the previous corner. We'll push, you know, Rob's told him what he's done wrong at turn 2. But by this stage, we're already approaching turn 3. And then Guy makes a mistake at turn 3 because he's still thinking about turn 2. And then he makes a mistake at turn 4 because he's thinking about turn 3. And it sort of spiraled from there.
Okay, sorry about that.
That was too fast.
Sorry about that.
Always be in charge of what's coming next.
The techniques Rob teaches are all about keeping the car balanced. If you accelerate too aggressively whilst cornering, this can unsettle the car. And cars don't really like going round corners. They lose grip, and this limits the ability to accelerate. Changing your line and reducing the time the car is actually cornering means you're spending more time in a straight line, going fast.
Yeah, a little bit fast, maybe. Go light on the brake.
If Guy could learn to brake more smoothly, accelerate more progressively, and reduce the amount of time he spends cornering,
Flat car, no. Swerve to the left a bit early. Hold the inside, good. Now brake gently. Good, full throttle.
then his lap times would improve significantly.
1 minute 37.5. Excellent start, right?
We've got a starting point.
He was good. He was anxious to learn.
So if I haven't got enough steering on,
you can't take any off.
No.
You can say it, and he'll understand it. Don't come off the brakes so suddenly. Come off a bit slower. But it's not until he does it correctly 100 times over that it takes on a normality. Lift and turn properly. That's much
better.
Throughout the day, Guy's times improved with every lap.
36.4.
Well done.
Rob's advice was sinking in.
35.7.
I'm noticing a little bit of excess wheel movement, boxing in shadow.
Yeah, why am I doing that?
So no more. The bruising will fade.
34.0.
Very good.
We're throwing a lot of information at you.
Sorry, guys.
No, this is what I need.
Sorry.
This is what I need.
And on his last lap of the day, Guy set his quickest time of all.
A good lap, 32.3.
1 minute 32.3. Dramatically, no?
Massive difference.
Doing good, Guy. You okay? You okay?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm learning.
I'm glad.
I think we made good progress, didn't we?
We did, yes. Very, very impressive.
Thank you.
On your way to Formula One.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Hey,
see you the next
thank
one.
you very much.
Thanks, Guy. Okay.
Cheers, boss.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot to learn. A lot to learn. Night's sleep will do that the world of good.
A few nights' sleep later, Guy drove to Rugby in Warwickshire to meet one of his all-time heroes.
It's Cosworth DFV, the most successful Formula 1 engine ever. You maybe don't get excited about engines the same way I do. Yeah, but it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. 155 Grand Prix race wins. So from 68 to 82, in that 14 years, 12 of those championships were won by Cosworth drivers. Hey, that's impressive.
The DFV engine which will power Guy's F1 car has undergone a complete restoration here at Judd Power. At one time, Judd supplied engines for half the Formula One grid, and it's a name every motorsport fan knows.
You know what Judd stands for? John Judd. Is that right? I met John Judd. What a nice bloke.
Full name is John David Judd, and for my trouble I own the business and control the engineering. Our business is design, build and manufacture of racing engines, and also rebuilding a lot of heritage engines from previous Formula One eras. This is
John Judd introduced me to Dan. I didn't know he was called John Judd. I didn't know. I just thought, I wonder where the Judd must be something to do with John. Anyway, John Judd, yeah. Oh, great name. Yeah. Anyway, John introduced me to Dan.
Dan Squire has worked for Judd for 15 years, and his full-time job for 5 months has been restoring Guy's DFV engine.
What a bloke Dan is. Real meticulous, real nice lad. He didn't get sick of my questions. So there's sleeves that the buckets run in then. And how do you adjust the valve clearance? Can you work in metric as well? Do you check stretch or just seat condition? Would this be a squish-style combustion chamber then? It's quite a flat port though, isn't it? So what valve angle is that? You think that was all taken into account when this engine was designed then?
Guy joined Dan to finish off his painstaking rebuild of the engine, ready for testing.
Do you want me to feel that?
Yeah.
I could see your face thinking that's a bit tight. No, it's,
You're happy
it's
enough?
all right. I know the feeling. You think that's not right. That's what it's all about, having that feel.
You got a bit of feel. Yeah, what do you think about the DFV?
Probably one of the most iconic engines of all time.
Is that right? Fair statement, that.
But it is.
It's a classic design that stood the test of time, and you can't speak too highly of it. In your day, you need to be top, and that's what it was.
The DFV, or double four valve, was the brainchild of a pair of British engineers.
Cosworth, yeah, Mike Costin and Keith Duckworth. Cosworth. It wasn't just one thing, oh, that's why the Cosworth was better than everything else. It wasn't, it was just everything. The way the fuel injection system worked, the way the engine and the gearbox was used as a stress member. Whereas everything before that had a chassis. Nothing like that had been done before. You just, oh yeah.
On its very first F1 outing, in Jim Clark's Lotus at the 1967 Dutch Grand Prix, the DFV won, and soon pretty much every Formula One team wanted a DFV in their cars.
That's a pretty legend, isn't it?
With the fuel lines connected, the 5-month engine rebuild was finally finished.
Great experience, an honour to work on the DFV.
That's it.
Ready for the dyno?
Yeah. Go and see what she can do.
Nowhere to hide on the dyno.
Now, the team wanted to measure the engine's power output by revving it at increasing speeds on a dynamometer, or dyno.
It's nerve-wracking. What's your engine dyno?
The engine that took 1,000 hours to rebuild would now be pushed to its limit.
Could all go horribly wrong. Dan knows exactly what he's doing, doesn't he? Putting his workmanship to test. If he's left anything slightly out of place, that thing would just kaboom itself.
Dan couldn't bear to watch.
Where is Dan? Dan had to walk away, he didn't want to hear it. You ready?
Yeah, going to start to push the throttle forward,
yeah,
and all the way in.
Guy operated the dyno under the guidance of Ron Monteith.
I was bloody nervous, man. It sounded like I was bloody... Oh.
The team hoped to rev the engine past 9,000 RPM without it failing. If it could cope with the stress, then a power output of over 450 HP would be deemed a success.
Yeah, I've got too much mechanical sympathy for engine dyno. That's revving now, wasn't it? It just sounded like it was trying to rip the thing out of the floor. Oh, yeah, that's making it bang. Murdering it. That's what we're doing on the dyno, we're trying to break it, trying to break what Dan's done. You know, to push it to the absolute limit, just to make sure it's not going to break. Impressive. That's impressive. And that's what they did.
Switch them both off, and it will stop.
Dan's done a good job. It made great power. It made like 510 horsepower, which is bloody great. Yeah, 10,500 RPM. It's ready now to go in the FW08 for me to give it a bit of a pasting. Yeah, nerve-wracking now.
Back at Williams, the engine was fitted to the car.
Fitted the engine, torqued it up, did a bit of lock wiring, rebuilt the gearbox, checked the ratios, fiddly job that. Lot of oil. My dad always said most important tool in the toolbox is the oil can. Yeah, that's right. Put the gearbox on the back. Oh, straight in.
You got the job.
Looks like a car, doesn't it? There's still loads left to do. The tension's building now. I can see the job's happening. It is happening.
Guy Martin is at Silverstone to drive in his first ever Formula One race. He'll be up against 2009 world champion Jenson Button, who competed at the highest level of motorsport for 17 years.
Go on, I'm following you. I don't know where I'm going.
Before they head on track in cars, they decide to do a slower lap, so Jenson can give Guy a few tips on how best to drive this famous circuit, Formula One style.
Look at this place. It's great, isn't it? It is great. Yeah, this first corner up here in an F1 car is flat.
Obviously, that takes a lot of building up to, though, doesn't it?
Second lap, you can probably get it. But I think that'd be a nice challenge to get this flat.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. What am I doing here? Back a gear.
In an F1 car, this is first now, but in a historic heritage, I'm not sure.
Second, you'd think?
Yeah, I think it probably would be. I'm guessing, because I don't know what ratios are, obviously. You do, because you put them in. Anyway, this is Hangar Straight.
Yeah.
Very famous. When you watch the footage back from you driving an F1 car around Silverstone, it'll be awesome, mate.
It's from Silverstone's World War II origins that Hangar Straight, and indeed Wellington Straight, get their names. In 1943, it opened as an RAF airfield to train Wellington bomber pilots, and Wellington Straight still follows the line of one of the original runways.
Well, I was watching your lap, and you wasn't getting off until the start of the curbs.
No, you're not lifting until there.
Shit!
Man, you're doing 200 miles an hour.
That twists your mind.
Yeah.
The first ever Silverstone motor race was illicitly organised by some locals in 1947. They managed to kill a sheep and write off one of their cars. However, their antics brought Silverstone to the attention of the Royal Automobile Club as a possible venue for a British Grand Prix.
They're away on their start by a large field, beginning 65 grueling laps, a distance of 250 miles.
In 1948, 100,000 spectators turned up to watch the first ever British Grand Prix at Silverstone.
The dead level turns are tricky on this former airfield, but the drivers take them in their stride.
And I would recommend just staying off the exit curbs.
Okay, were we looking at about an apex about here?
Yeah, if you touch that curb and get it wrong, you'll be in that wall, so.
Right, okay.
Over the last 70 years, Silverstone has staged 52 World Championship Grand Prix.
That's it, a superstar by Damon Hill.
And and the official lap record is just over 1 minute 30 seconds, set by Lewis Hamilton in 2017 at an average speed of 145 miles per hour.
When you get on the power, you get on the power. You don't just slowly accelerate because you'll just get understeer, which is a good thing. A bit of understeer rather than oversteer.
Right, okay. And like, to be honest, I don't know the difference between understeer and oversteer.
When you keep turning into the corner, it's understeer. When you're turning away from it, it's oversteer.
Okay, quite simple.
Easy, mate. Easy, easy, easy. The easiest thing you've done in your life. Okay.
Next time Guy and Jenson head out on track, it'll be in a pair of 500 horsepower Formula One cars. Of course, you don't just jump into the most advanced race cars on Earth and hope for the best. Like all F1 drivers, Guy needed to build up slowly. So back in March, Guy and his mentor, Karun Chandok, were at the Pembrey circuit in South Wales for Guy's first experience in a single-seater, driving this Formula 3 car.
We got this one here for you.
Yeah. Lovely looking thing though, it's not very big, is it?
For you, you know, it's about sitting in that driving perspective of single-seater and
Yeah,
just
which
get...
I've not experienced before.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like it.
I think any driver who can be quick in an F3 can be quick in anything.
Jenson Button, Senna, Schumacher, Hamilton, Moss, Vettel, Mansell, and pretty much every other F1 legend cut their teeth in Formula 3. Even Bernie Ecclestone raced Formula 3 in 1949.
It's just a great car to get used to driving a single-seater.
After kitting up, Guy and Karun both headed out in Formula 3 cars. For his first 6 laps, Guy would be following Karun, a man who's raced single-seaters at the highest level.
It's hard to break that mental barrier of how quick you can go. But if you see another car in front of you go through a corner at a certain speed, you go, oh, hang on a second, that's possible because he's just done it. So let me have a go. Race cars hate being driven slowly. They're not designed to drive slowly. The tires don't work, the brakes don't work, the aerodynamics don't work.
Gently going to pick the pace up here. Guy's doing a good job. He's starting to get in the rhythm.
The biggest learning curve for Guy in a car like this would always be getting to grips with downforce. Aerodynamic downforce has become the most important single element in the performance of all racing cars, and it's what makes driving one so different from anything else.
One of the biggest things that a guy coming from motorbike racing has to learn about driving a single-seater car is actually you've got to use this downforce. Downforce is your friend.
A standard road car creates very little downforce, so all it has to create grip from the tyres is its own weight. As it corners, the centrifugal force overcomes the grip from the tyres and tries to push the car off the road. Try to corner while going too fast, and it'll end badly. The wings and bodywork on a Formula 3 car act like upside-down aeroplane wings, so instead of creating lift and pushing the vehicle up, they create downforce to push it down onto the road. The faster the car goes, the greater the downforce produced, meaning even more grip and even faster cornering. Incredibly modern Formula 1 cars have for years produced so much downforce, they could, in theory, drive upside down and stick to the roof of a tunnel.
The downforce through the fast corners was amazing.
Over a cuppa, and using the telemetry gathered from their cars, Karun showed Guy where he could improve.
So what's what we're looking at here?
It's you versus me. That's me in red. You're green. Yeah. At that point there, you're going 5k quicker than me.
Right.
But it doesn't help you because you're offline for the left. So around the next one, I'm now going 15k quicker than you.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I've placed the car in the right place. Yeah. And into the last one, I think your line is good.
Is it?
Maybe you can apex a little bit earlier.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Slow in, fast out.
Yeah. Okay. Great job. I'm
cool.
learning.
Yeah, no, mate, that's, honestly, we're getting there. Right. It's really good. Right. Don't forget your tea.
Yeah, I'll get the tea, mate, get the tea.
After the theory lesson, Guy headed back out. And this time he had the track to himself to push hard and explore the limits of the car's downforce.
It's just hard to know where the limit is. Single seat is strapped in like that. Just, where is the limit? How do you find the limit? And what happens when you're at the limit? It took, I don't know, a couple of 3 goes before I got a couple of slides. I thought, all right, yeah. And I'm just starting to get the feel for it. But I spun it a couple of times because I was going around some corners too fast, so I got to lock the back end up. What this did seem, the faster it went, you thought, oh yeah, it's easier. It is a bit easier.
But then, Guy pushed too hard on the circuit's fastest corner.
I sort of convinced myself that the track's that grippy, I can go as fast as I like. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. But anyway, I didn't do any damage. Nervous. I'm still nervous. No confidence yet. There's no confidence. Definitely not.
Guy's next visit to Pembrey should hopefully be in an F1 car. And Williams won't be happy if he puts that in the Armco.
I will get there. If I want something, I'll knuckle down and I'll get to it.
At the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, Guy Martin is about to face his most daunting driving challenge yet. To find out if a brilliant motorbike racer can, with the minimum of training, switch to 4 wheels and take on a Formula One legend like Jenson Button.
I've raced in F1 for many years, obviously won a world championship, and I still feel like I'm at the top of my game. For Guy, it's a steep learning curve, getting to grips with something that's so alien to him. Like me getting on a motorbike, I would not have a clue what to do.
With race time approaching, Williams Heritage team manager Dickie Stanford runs through the rules and format of their race.
JB going out first.
Okay.
Guy, you're following. Take
attention.
notice.
The race will begin with a rolling start. Then Guy and Jenson will battle it out over 5 laps of the full Grand Prix circuit. And because Jenson has so much more experience than Guy, he'll serve a 10-second pit stop penalty on his 2nd lap. After that, it's a straight race for the checkered flag.
Your car should be better than mine because it's got ground effect.
You've got a race car, I've got a spaceship.
Yeah, you have. You have. Come on, I'm nervous now. I'm nervous. Well, I was nervous anyway. I'm even more nervous.
Back in April, Silverstone still felt a very, very long way off for Guy and the team at Williams Heritage. The restoration was complete, but FW08C had yet to be started up. Now came the moment of truth.
Crank in.
Have a look round while it was running, make sure there's no oil leaks, nothing leaking, nothing rattling loose. Yeah, it's great, sounds apart, doesn't it? Sounds raw, sounds a bit of a beast. Yeah, that sounds fairly aggressive there, doesn't it?
Pleased with the fire-up,
Just like that.
they fitted the bodywork and wheels.
Are they all right on thread?
No. Right hand side, left hand thread. Left hand side, right hand thread.
I thought you'd done the pit stops.
The finished car was then loaded onto a truck. Next stop, the crucial shakedown where the months of meticulous work on restoring this classic car to full racing condition will be put to the test.
We're in.
I've got to bring me driving gear. Remember to bring me driving gear, bring me helmet. Go on, what else have I got to bring? What's it called? Where are we? Tur Western, yeah, it's just bottom side of Silverstone. You'd chuck a stone to Silverstone over there, wouldn't you? We're here to have the first run out in the FW08C.
The boss of Williams Heritage, Jonathan Williams, was there to see for himself how both the car and Guy performed.
I was nervous, first going a Formula 1 car, so yeah, a bit nerve-wracking. Okay. Yeah, go on, mate. 500 odd horsepower. What's it weigh? 500 odd kilograms. It's intimidating. Karen's going at it first, so he's sort of taking the pressure off. Car's been rebuilt from the ground up. Every nut and bolt has been replaced or in bits at some point. So yeah, it was just make sure everything's all right. Nothing's going to drop off, nothing's going to leak oil. It's not going to blow up.
Yep, we're clear. Williams to control tower.
Williams, go ahead.
We would like to do our first run with the race car now, please.
Okay, you are good to run.
Thank you very much, control. Okay, we're good to go.
What a noise, wasn't it? What a noise.
After the first run, the car was thoroughly checked.
These lads built it, so they just want to just check, double check. The last thing that they want me to do is go in there and say, well, what's the, let them concentrate and they're looking at it. That's what you're doing.
And there was a problem.
That's fuel.
A bit of a fuel leak. This wasn't anyone's fault, it was just something over time. An aluminium washer had slightly perished.
Well, take the spar box off, take this off, and then you'll be able to see it much better.
Yeah, that's what days like today are for. But if that is the only thing, well, that's not a bad thing. Minor thing. So yeah, sorted that out.
Not leaking.
Okay, we're good to go.
Bodywork back on. Job's a peach. Job's a peach, not a bother.
Once the team were happy the car was running well, it was time for Guy to have his first ever drive in an F1 car.
Well, you're not going to miss me on a dark night, are you? Eh? In my white get-up, yeah. I know, white. I've only to look at it and it'll be mucky, so it won't stay this colour for long. But it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. I'll wash my hands. Now, Bob.
Big day.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll look after him, mate.
And wipe your feet when you get in, so there'll be stones and stuff.
All right.
Just lift your foot up like a horse, that's it. Okay.
Just make sure your manhood's not squashed.
She's all right. He's only a little fella, mate. We're all right. Yeah, nervous. It's priceless, isn't it? Priceless. This isn't for sale. Williams will never sell this car. No. Yeah, no pressure out. I know it's only going up and down a straight track, but it's still a bit nerve-wracking. First run out in a Formula 1 car.
Okay, everybody, clear the way. We're ready to go.
I got out of the garage, I slipped the clutch a bit. I didn't stall it. Don't start trying to be a hero on your first run out, try and do any burnouts or anything. I'm not going to try and do any of that. I just want to go up and down and get a feel for the car. Fair rasp off it, fairly responsive at the throttle, fairly aggressive. The slightest touch on the throttle and it revs up real sharp. It just sounds really intimidating. We're coming down the boxes a little bit, like Karen was telling me not to use the clutch down the box. It just feels too cruel. That's nice. a bit more user-friendly than I was expecting.
But it was all right. Did you get full throttle?
Yeah. Yeah, feels great.
Well, you haven't broken it. Johnny's happy. Feel good? Good.
The car was checked again.
You all happy with it?
Great.
You ready for another run?
And then Guy went straight back out. And this time, he gave it some beans.
Yeah, it was moving. I was giving it billio down there, and I thought, you know, the horizon's coming at you at a fair old rate. It's bloody fast. It is bloody fast. I'm honoured. I'm honoured to be involved with just with the whole job. Yeah, yes. It's amazing. It's a pretty brilliant day. Yeah, it motors. It's quicker than what I was expecting.
Very happy. It seems really mechanically sympathetic.
It's such a long travel on the throttle. The further you push your foot, the faster it goes, and it just keeps going. It's great.
That was good fun, wasn't it? He did a good job as well. It's very clear already that he's ready to take this thing onto a circuit.
Look at that smile. Yeah.
Well, I'm very confident with him, yeah.
Guy had just taken one very big step closer to being an F1 driver. Guy Martin and Jenson Button are at Silverstone to race head-to-head in a pair of classic early 80s Formula One cars.
Right, do you want a cup of tea? I'm going to make a brew. I'm going to make a brew, yeah.
Guy will be in an FW08C, the first F1 car ever driven by Ayrton Senna.
I've had a fair bit of involvement in the building of it.
Yeah?
The engine rebuilt the gearbox in one sitting.
Has that been a big part of it for you?
I love the building, yeah.
Jenson Button will be in the six-wheel prototype ground effect car, FW08B.
Did you build this one?
No involvement with this at all. No involvement.
Fantastic.
A machine that has never raced before today.
He's got a really big rear wing. Why has mine not got a rear wing?
Because I haven't got ground effects.
I was just waiting for the reaction.
Right, okay. That's the reason.
Yeah, got me a Marlin.
Come on, let's get a cup of tea.
While Jenson started in Formula One in the year 2000, Guy's first ever experience of driving a Formula One car on a racetrack was just 2 months ago. In May, he returned to the Pembrey circuit in Wales with the fully restored FW08C. A crucial day, as this would be the only time Guy got to drive the car on a circuit before Silverstone.
We've been to Tour West and we've drove it up and down in a straight line and got the feel for that, so we thought, right, before I go head-to-head with Jenson Button, I need to get the feel for it going round corners.
But the Welsh weather was not being helpful.
Peed it down.
These aren't great conditions for anybody to be driving, let alone someone who's never driven it before.
I've been told 3 times since we've been here. Last thing every one of you needs is that going into the barrier. So we're going to have a few steady laps round, get our eye in. Get right, nothing stupid, no stopwatches. That's better since I've had my hair cut. At least I can see where I'm going now.
That's useful.
Anything you don't like while you're out there, just come straight in.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 As Guy headed out, the rain was coming down so hard as to almost make the track undrivable.
I was scared. I was real tense.
Formula One cars are not at their best in the wet. At high speeds, their wide tyres can't always clear enough water to maintain grip with the track, so they aquaplane easily, skimming across standing water, causing a loss of grip and control.
Because I had a couple of where it aquaplaned over the bits of wood. I just thought, well, hang on, what are we doing? What are we doing?
A wet track surface always reduces tyre grip, even in a straight line. That reduces the speed a car can enter a corner, which in turn reduces the amount of downforce generated by the car's aerodynamics. Less downforce means even less grip, and for Guy, that meant this wasn't any fun at all.
very intense, very intense. It was all about just getting the feel for it. Like, I couldn't get anything, and I just thought, what's it like when you get it to that point? Is it going to be friendly where it just spins a bit and I think, all right, I'm all right, I can work with that? Or am I just going to spin right around? You know, yeah.
The tough decision was made to abandon testing. It was too wet, too dangerous, and Guy was doing nothing apart from avoiding a crash.
I think, yeah, the right decision was made. The only way forward is to get a go around a dry track. We need to get another one out. If we're going into this race, I want to be fair competitive. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water there.
A month later, Guy did get a proper dry run at Thruxton Circuit in Hampshire. Finally, the weather was on his side. Guy did have to share the track with 20 or so slower Formula Ford single-seaters. But he got out first and had no intention of being caught.
Using all the revs.
It sounds like you're properly using it now.
Does it?
Yeah, it sounds like how it should do.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
What a
Really, he loves it.
Guy finally got his chance to drive his F1 car at speed in the dry.
What an amazing thing. You had a day in that, my God.
But that was all the practice Guy would get, including the damp squib at Pembrey, just 15 laps. Although at Silverstone, as race time approaches, Guy's questioning whether it was even that many.
You're trying to tell me, and I think you're wrong, you're saying I've done 15 laps. I didn't do 15 laps.
He's a true racing driver.
I've probably done half a dozen around Thruxton. Those laps I did at Pembrey do not count at all.
And you've never driven Silverstone in a car either?
No. How many laps have you done in a Formula One car? Thousands? 10,000?
It's got to be, hasn't it? I did 17 years.
Never.
Yeah.
17 years.
600 kilometres every weekend. 600 times 20, there's 20 races in a year.
600 times 20. Right, it's 1,200.
Times 17.
20,400, right?
And that's without testing as well.
Okay.
Which I wouldn't have a clue what that is.
If we said roughly 25,000
It's going to be 30,000 kilometres.
You reckon 30,000 kilometres?
At least.
Okay. Right, 30,000, and we said roughly 5 kilometres per lap.
Coming up trumps that watch, isn't it? I love it. How many?
6,000.
6,000 laps?
To my half a dozen.
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay.
I mean, you can keep coming up with the excuses if you want, or you can just get on with it. Be a
get
man
on with
about it.
At Silverstone Racing Circuit in Northamptonshire, it's the first day of the British Grand Prix weekend. And Guy Martin is just 30 minutes away from his first ever Formula One race. Against former world champion, Jenson Button. As the cars get their final prep, another British F1 legend pops by.
So you've been getting your hands dirty with this then?
We've been doing a bit, mate. Yeah, David Coulthard. He came to have a look. Yeah, a few words of wisdom.
Go faster, try harder.
Don't crash.
Don't crash, yeah.
He's a good bloke, isn't he? Good bloke.
Good luck, boys.
Cheers, boss.
May the Maddest win.
They make lights.
For the race, Guy and Jenson will both be driving classic Williams Formula One cars. Guy will be in an FW08C, the first F1 car Ayrton Senna ever drove, while Jenson will be in FW08B, a unique prototype 6-wheel ground effect car which was banned before it ever got to race. This will be the first time Jenson's ever driven it. After the photo shoot, they head for the pit lane, accompanied by Guy's F1 mentor, Karun Chandok.
We've just seen videos of his onboards and stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, you're ready for him now.
How late you was breaking down the back straight. Yeah, but then Jenson's going into the unknown probably more than what I am. Have you ever drove a six-wheel truck? Have you ever drove anything with six wheels?
I used to drive my old man's tranny.
Double, like twin wheel.
Yeah.
Twin wheel. Heavy weighting, over 3-ton rating. That's what that means. Double wheels.
Oh, is it?
After a rolling start, the race will be over 5 laps, but Jenson will have to make a pit stop on his second lap. Then it'll be a straight fight to the checkered flag.
So, yeah, just follow him around, get a feel of the line and stuff, right?
He covers it well, but you could tell he was nervous. You can start to see when he's nervous. He goes quiet.
Ready?
I've been nervous all day. Nothing that was said or was done made me any less nervous.
Both drivers will get 2 warm-up laps, for Guy to get a feel for the track, and for Jenson to get a feel for his very different new car.
I've always said to myself that I shouldn't do silly things that I can hurt myself doing. But as soon as you get in the car and your visor goes down, everything goes out the window and you drive it as quick as you can.
We went out for the first 2 laps, he just showed me the line. And in the second lap, he pressed on a bit because he wanted to feel what the car was like when he pressed on.
The six-wheeler definitely felt different. You're sat right at the front and the rear wheels are so far away from you. You don't know when it's going to bite. Your feet are dangling over the front wheels. If you hit a wall, you're going to break your legs.
During warm-up, the team noticed blue smoke coming from Jenson's car.
That's rubbing.
Pick that up a bit.
That's rubbing quite a bit.
That was the skirt material. It's running a tad low.
You could see the smoke, but that was only happening at the end of the straight when the car got more ground effect, getting drawn harder to the floor, and that's when the skirts were coming in contact with the ground.
It's decided the smoke is not a worry, and that means everyone's finally ready to race. As they approach the line, Guy and Jenson form up for a rolling start.
It was great looking across and seeing his eyes and seeing him nervous about driving something that is just so normal to me.
When the lights go out, the race begins.
The lights went off and he lit it up pretty quickly.
I just thought, let Jenson do whatever he was going to do. Then, right, I'll just try and stick with him.
Followed me through the high speed, right, left.
And then he was away. Yeah, that was about the first and last that I saw of him.
Jenson now pushes to build up as big a lead as he can before his pit stop. And Guy needs to do all he can to keep that gap small.
Had a couple of moments early on. When I got into a high G turn, I felt the car moving. I didn't have enough confidence to push on beyond it. I wasn't going to try and keep with Jenson if I didn't feel comfortable. And I definitely didn't feel comfortable at the pace he was going.
As Jenson comes in for his pit stop, he's already opened up a 10-second gap over Guy. But as Jenson sits in the pit lane, Guy rockets past and takes the lead. Jenson rejoins the track, now 10 seconds behind Guy.
Then we did the little pit stop for me, came out, and then I started catching him. Certain corners I watched him through and I was like, yeah, he's brave. You know, he's pushing it through there.
The cars are pretty similar on speed, but he seemed to have a lot more downforce than what I had, and a lot more skill.
And I caught him at quite a tricky moment. I was like, do I go around the outside? Try and overtake him? I was like, yeah. And I looked at the way that he was placing the car, I was like, he hasn't seen me. So I backed out of it.
I didn't know he was there. He's got enough experience, he knew that I hadn't seen him.
And then towed up down the straight into Stowe.
And then he did me on the brakes at the end of the back straight.
I'm sure he was looking at me going,
shit. I was a bit quicker then, so I hung on to him for a few more corners from then on, and then he was gone again. But his car just looked like it was sucked to the floor. I don't try and do what he's doing. You're not in the same league as him. Just keep on doing what you're doing. If you haven't crashed it, you're doing something right. If I'd have pushed beyond that, we'd have been digging around the gravel.
Jenson takes the checkered flag. But Guy has impressed everyone.
For a first go, and in front of all these people, he did really well.
He was sensible, he built up the speed, he looked good out on track.
Excellent, in a word. A perfect way to end everything that we've done with Guy over these past few months.
I hope he enjoyed it. I hope he learnt a lot.
I'll go to sleep tonight, happy that I couldn't have done any more. But I'm a bloody racer, and I'm always thinking, right, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I know what he's like, and he will want to do so much more to perfect his driving skill.
So I can pick bits out of this that's going to make me a better driver. But I think for me to be any good as a single-seater driver, cheers, mate, I need to spend more time in it.
All right, mate. You were quick in the high-speed corners. For someone that doesn't race in a racing car.
I was so nervous with everything. I didn't want to over-rev it, I didn't want to crash it, I didn't want to water on.
Do it again sometime with something else.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. It was just a mate. It was, but yeah. Getting a chance to the Silverstone GP circuit on the British Grand Prix, driving the FWA. What a great experience. Yeah. I did have a little bit coming here thinking, yeah, I'm going to push him. Of course I am. Who was I kidding? Who was I kidding?